episode was full of cuteness as we had Mikoto versus Luna, two characters that uses the same nation. But what happens when Yuna meets her idol? After all, we know the old saying, you should never meet your heroes/idols. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're talking all things episode 80 of the Cardfight Vanguard Divinez anime series. Mikoto versus Yuna. Now this was a matchup that honestly I couldn't predict the result of, yet I loved how it played out. Mikoto deserved this W. After all, her character development has been amazing throughout Season 1 and Season 2. So let's start off by talking about Yuna. Now the reason as to why she was the destined rival to Mikoto was because of their connection. They card fight online against each other, even if none of them realized it until now. Plus, Yuna has this obsession with Michan, having posters, having cardboard cutouts, and even talking to her pictures and imagining the response that Michan would give in said conversation. Now, they explained that this was because Yuna was a top student, both in academics and in sports, but after a while she grew bored and tired of meeting everyone's expectations, until she discovered Vanguard, a game that allowed her to fight for herself only, instead of other people, thus leading her to the idol known as Michan. Created this idea that this idol was perfect in every way, and this gave Yuna hope/energy. It gave her a reason to live. But that's the problem with heroes and idols. They only show you what they want to show you, and you as fans don't get to see their flaws and their troubles, the trials and obstacles that they have to overcome. So it's easy to get lost and create this fantasy about your favourite people. Yuna's wish was to become Michan. Now this would have ended in disaster if this were to have come to fruition. Now when looking at this character of Yuna, I did get heavy Urura vibes from this character. Both her and Yuna are crazy fangirls that are still trying to figure themselves out when we first get introduced to them. And if Yuna remains within the show, I'd love to see Mikoto taking this more of a guidance role, helping Yuna discover herself and move forward. As a side note, I did love seeing the fact that in Season 1, the name Comeback Man did come up when Mikoto was playing online. So the writers really have thought about this sort of character way back in Season 1. And this I actually really do like. They were planning this rivalry from the start. So back to Yuna. When we see her having that realization that the two know each other from dear days online, she starts to piece the fact that Michan and Bunny Berry are the same person. And I love seeing the raw emotion on display from Yuna. This idea of supremacy and perfection starts to crumble, being that Michan isn't perfect/flawless, as believed she was, because Bunny Berry is this complete opposite person in terms of language and behavioural patterns. So again, the fact is, she doesn't know the full character, only what is displayed on screen when it comes to her idol. But this segment does give Mikoto the perfect platform to show off her character development, which I absolutely adored it for. That line where Mikoto stated that it was her fans that encouraged her, this was golden, as it helps to boost Mikoto into continuing her idol duties, but also not being afraid to let people see the real her. Just like how Yuna said that Michan was the one who inspired her, it was great knowing that the fans, like Yuna, can also inspire Mikoto. So yeah, I loved how vulnerable Mikoto laid herself out to be in this episode, highlighting her weaknesses and explaining how she uses her friends and fans and those weaknesses to push her to become someone better, to change and to grow. And I think this openness and honestness from her character when talking to Yuna helps to convince Yuna that it's okay to not be perfect. It's okay just to be who you are and what you want to be. And I think that was a beautiful message to kind of present across, and I think it was presented in a very wonderful way. But on the same note, I do like how Yuna does show a few types of character traits as Season 1 Mikoto did. When it comes to their school life, as We get a scene with Yuna where she's asked who her favourite idol is, and she just kind of hides from the subject. She doesn't really give them the real answer. She hides her interest in fear of being rejected or labelled a freak. As a side note, during that school segment episode, the animators must have loved doing these imaginary scenes in her head. They were very creative and, let's say unique. But yeah, I do like, again, how these two characters do share similar vibes from each other from season 1 to now. And that's why I feel like Makoto can be a very good guidance to Yuna. Moving along now, Aikawa, he once again drops more intriguing information that gets us questioning more and more, as it's not just Suo and Akina that he seems to have a connection to, but it's everyone which is involved in this tournament, as he previously has met them before. Now, this could have something to do with that energy surge that happened 10 years ago that we don't know any more information about. So once we learn more about that incident, we could learn more about Aikawa's character. And again, the fact that it's an energy surge that connects to Krei and Aikawa wants to visit Krei, I feel like there's too many connections here, so it has to do with what happened 10 years ago. But still, it makes this character even more intriguing, and it's frustrating that we still, well, personally I don't know what's going on with him yet, because I just can't wait for that reveal to happen. But I will be patient. Seeing Hikari still being a Michan fan and showing positivity was great, as it shows she's not completely turned yet, despite how cold and distant she's acting towards her brother. Admittedly, I do like how now is the one to comfort Akina and make sure he's doing okay with things around the home between him and Hikari, as this helps to show off their friendship and her kindness, but all at the same time, it does mean that this team of the Fated Ones do seem more connected and have that togetherness about each other, where Team Destined don't seem to have that, even if Aikawa is trying to play team leader. It seems like once one of them get defeated, the others just kind of walk off and don't interact with each other much more. So anyway, those are my quick thoughts on this episode. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comments down below. My favourite character of Divinez in Makoto had her time to shine, and I absolutely loved it. So, with that being said, I'm going to jump into the next one, which seems like a banger as well. Have a great day. Arigato. Matane. Goodbye.